Chapter 1. Supernatural Power in the Palace of the Trayastrimsha Heaven. His is what I, Ananda, personally heard from the Buddha. Once, our teacher Shakyamuni Buddha, to repay the kindness of his mother Queen Maya, who had passed away and been reborn in the Trayastrimsa heaven, used his great supernatural powers to ascend to the Trayastrimsa heaven and deliver a sermon to his mother. It was during this time that from the 10 directions, which include east, west, south, north, southeast, southwest, northeast, northwest, up, and down, Buddhas from the 10 directions and Bodhisattvas from the 10 directions all gathered at this Dharma assembly in the Trayastrimsa heaven. Praise how Shakyamuni Buddha is able to manifest powerfully great wisdom and spiritual penetrations in the evil world of the 5 turbidities. They lauded how he regulates and subdues obstinate beings so they learn what causes suffering and what brings bliss. Each sent his attendants to pay their respects to the Shakyamuni Buddha. At that time the Buddha smiled and emitted billions of myriad great illuminating clouds. There was a light cloud of great fullness, a light cloud of great compassion, a light cloud of great wisdom, a light cloud of great prajna, a light cloud of great samadhi, a light cloud of great auspiciousness, a light cloud of great blessings, a light cloud of great merit, a light cloud of great refuge, and a light cloud of great praise. Following the manifestation of countless illuminating clouds, there also arose various subtle sounds, including DNA Pramit, the sounds of the perfection of generosity, La Pramit, the perfection of ethical conduct, La Pramit, the perfection of patience, Vraya Pramit, the perfection of diligence, Dina Pramit, the perfection of meditative concentration, Prajna Pramit, the perfection of wisdom, the sound of compassion, the sound of joyous giving, the sound of liberation, the Tevan of soundlessness, the sound of wisdom, the sound of great wisdom, the lion's roar, the great lion's roar, the sound of thunder, and the great thunderous sound. In order to awaken the lost sentient beings and guide them to renounce evil and turn to the right path, the Buddha emitted immeasurable great radiant clouds and imparted various Dharma teachings. In this Saha world, the world of endurance, and other worlds, this world and other worlds, this realm and other realms, countless lands and innumerable heavenly and divine beings, including the heaven of the 4 kings, the heaven of the Trayastrimsa, X Yang Mo Tin, the heaven of streaming radiance Dusita heaven, Hua Latin, the heaven of delight in transformation, Ta with Macron Hua Zizai Tin, the heaven of transformation at will, Fan Zhong Tin, the heaven of the multitudes of Brahma, Fan F Tin, the heaven of the ministers of Brahma, Da Fan Tin, the great Brahma heaven, Shou Gung Tin, the heaven of lesser light, Wuliang Gung Tin, the heaven of immeasurable light, Gung Yn Tin, the heaven of light and sound, Shou Jing Tin, the heaven of lesser purity, Wuliang Jing Tin, the heaven of immeasurable purity, Bien Jing Tin, the heaven of universal purity, Fu Shng Tin, the heaven of meritorious birth, Fu Re Tin, the heaven of meritorious love, Gung Jiu Tin, Vasavatin, Wuxing Tin, the heaven of no thought, Wufan Tin, the heaven of no afflictions, Wura Tin, the heaven of no heat, Shan Jian Tin, the heaven of good seeing, Shan Zan Tin, the heaven of good manifestation, Sejijing Tin, the heaven of the end of form, Mo X Shu Luo Tin, the heaven of Maheshvara, the heaven of non-thought and non-perception. All the followers of heaven, the followers of the dragons, and the ghost came together at the Trayastrimsa. Furthermore, there are various gods from other worlds and within the Saha world, including sea gods, river gods, tree gods, mountain gods, earth gods, water and marsh gods, crop and harvest gods, day gods, night gods, sky gods, weather gods, deities of food and drink, and deities of plants. Many gods have gathered for this assembly. Additionally, there are various ghost kings from other worlds and within the Saha world, such as the Evil Eye Ghost King, Blood-Sucking Ghost King, Energy-Draining Ghost King, Fetus and Egg-Consuming Ghost King, Epidemic Ghost King, Poison-Collecting Ghost King, Compassionate Ghost King, Beneficent Ghost King, and the Great Respectful Ghost King. Many ghost kings have also gathered for this assembly. Seeing so many Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and various sentient beings gathered here. Shakyamuni Buddha turned to the noble Prince Manjushri Bodhisattva Mahasattva by his side and said, "You see all these Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, heavenly dragons, deities, and spirits, some of whom come from this world, Saha world, some from other worlds, the other 3,000 great Kṣitigarbhas, which are other Buddha lands, some from this land, our southern Jambudvipa, and some from other lands, the various lands within the Saha world beyond southern Jambudvipa. There are beings from this many worlds, lands, and regions gathered here in the Trayastrimsa heaven. Can you comprehend the total number?" The Buddha said to Manjushri Bodhisattva, "Even I, using the divine power of the Buddha's eye, cannot completely fathom these numbers. All of these beings are those whom Kṣitigarbha Bodhisattva, through his great vows, has liberated and guided to attain Buddhahood from remote, immeasurable past eons to the present. They include those who are presently being liberated, those who are on the verge of Buddhahood, and those who will attain Buddhahood in a future era." Manjushri said to the Buddha, "World-honored one, throughout many eons I have cultivated good roots and my wisdom was certified as unobstructed. When I hear what the Buddha says, I immediately accept it with faith, but sound hearers of small attainment, gods, dragons, and the rest of the Eightfold Division, and beings in the future who hear the Buddha's words will certainly harbor doubts. Even if they receive the teaching most respectfully, they will still be unable to avoid slandering it. My only wish is that the world-honored one will proclaim for everyone what practices Kṣitigarbha Bodhisattva did. Tell us what vows he made while on the level of planting causes that now enable him to succeed in doing such inconceivable deeds." The Buddha told Bodhisattva Manjushri, for example, take all the plants, trees, forests, rice, hemp, bamboo, reeds, and all other vegetation in the 3,000 great thousand worlds. Count each of these as a number. Then, consider these numbers as numerous as the grains of sand in the Ganges River. Each grain of sand in the Ganges River can be seen as a world, and each world can be broken down into fine dust. Each particle of this fine dust is counted as one kalpa, which is an eon. The number of kalpa since Kṣitigarbha Bodhisattva attained the 10th ground and beyond exceeds the numbers I just described by more than 1,000-fold. Kṣitigarbha Bodhisattva's time spent in the practices and stages of the Shravakas and Pratyekabuddhas is beyond imagination. The Buddha told Manjushri, the majestic presence and supernatural abilities of Kṣitigarbha Bodhisattva, along with the profound vows, are truly inconceivable. In the future, if there are virtuous men or women who have the affinity to hear the name of Kṣitigarbha Bodhisattva, offer praise, pay respects with reverence, make prostrations, recite the Bodhisattva's name, or make offerings such as lamps, incense, flowers, food, clothing, candles, fruits, and other items before the image of the Bodhisattva, or if they create images of the Bodhisattva with colorful pigments, carve images of the Bodhisattva from precious stones, or sculpt images of the Bodhisattva from wood, clay, glue, paint, or silk, those individuals, through the merit created by these actions, can be reborn in the Trayastrimsa heaven 100 times consecutively, enjoying the happiness of the Trayastrimsa heaven without falling into the 3 evil realms of animals, hungry ghosts, and hell. The Buddha told Manjushri, Kṣitigarbha Bodhisattva, in a very, very distant and countless kalpa ago, was once born as a son in the family of a great elder. During that era, there was a Buddha known as Swift Resolute Tathagata. This son of the great elder, upon seeing the magnificent and dignified appearance of the Buddha, a result of long-term accumulation of good roots and blessings from past lives, was eager to understand how the Buddha achieved such a perfect and dignified appearance. The son of the great elder approached Swift Resolute Tathagata with reverence and inquired about the vows and practices one should undertake to attain such a perfect and magnificent appearance. Swift Resolute Tathagata then told him, to attain a perfect and magnificent appearance and physical form, one should begin from a very distant era and use the pure wisdom of the Dharma to liberate all suffering beings. Upon hearing this, the son of the great elder made a great vow in front of Swift Resolute Tathagata, saying, I now make a vow that, starting from today and continuing into endless, distant and uncountable kalpa in the future, I will use the wisdom of the Dharma, employing methods suitable for the time and the capacity of sentient beings, to liberate all sentient beings from the cycle of birth and death, allowing them to attain the ultimate state of Buddhahood. Afterward, I myself will also become a Buddha. Because the son of the great elder made this great vow before swift resolute Tathagata in that era, he has continued to assist countless sentient beings to attain liberation from suffering and enjoy happiness over countless eons. However, even after such an extensive period of time, he remains as a Bodhisattva. Long before countless eons that cannot be contemplated in thought or expression, there was another Buddha who appeared in the world, and this Buddha was named the Tathagata of Supreme Wisdom. The lifespan of this Buddha extended for an immeasurable number of eons. During the Tathagata of Supreme Wisdom's teaching, there was a saintess. She had dedicated herself to rigorous spiritual practice for an extensive period in the past, accumulating profound merits and virtues. People who saw her held her in great reverence and admiration. Wherever she went, whether standing, sitting, or lying down, her every movement was graced by the protection of celestial beings. However, her mother held beliefs contrary to the right path, placing her faith in erroneous doctrines and doubting the true triple gem of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Not only did she lack faith, but she also harbored contempt for them. For this reason, the saintess tried various methods to persuade and induce her mother in the hope of instilling right understanding and right views in her. However, due to her mother's heavy karmic hindrances and limited virtuous roots, she did not completely believe what the saintess was conveying. Not long after, her mother passed away and her soul fell into the unrelenting hells. At this point, the saintess, aware that her mother had not believed in karma while she was alive, understood that, according to the principles of karmic retribution, her mother was bound to fall into the realms of misery, hell, hungry ghosts, or animals, after her passing. In an effort to rescue her mother, the saintess sold her family property, homes, and various possessions. She used the proceeds to purchase many incense and flowers, along with numerous offerings for the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and the Triple Gem. She performed these offerings in the shrine of the Tathagata of Supreme Wisdom, who had already attained Nirvana. In that shrine, the Tathagata of Supreme Wisdom's image was carved with utmost perfection, depicting a figure both majestic and compassionate. The sculpture captured the essence of the Tathagata, conveying a sense of perfect tranquility. At that moment, the saintess, with profound veneration, gazed upon and paid homage to the serene visage of the Buddha. Her heart was filled with deep respect. She thought, given that the Buddha's name is synonymous with great enlightenment and encompasses all wisdom, if the Buddha were still in this world, and if I were to inquire about the whereabouts of my mother after her passing, the Buddha would undoubtedly be able to know and tell me. With a heart full of regret and deep sorrow for her mother, the saintess stood before the Buddha's image. She recited Buddhist prayers with great intensity, her tears flowing as she chanted. Lost in her grief and prayers, she lost track of time. Suddenly, a voice from the sky said, "Oh, the saintess who weeps, do not grieve excessively. I am here to tell you the place where your mother has been reborn after her passing." Upon hearing this voice, the saintess was extremely moved. She clasped her hands together and asked the heavens, "Who is this divine being who has come to comfort my worries? Ever since I lost my mother, day and night, at every moment, I have been thinking of her and longing to know where she is now." The voice from the sky continued, "I am the past Buddha you are currently reverently worshipping, the Tathagata of Supreme Wisdom. I have come to tell you because your longing for your mother far surpasses the sentiments of ordinary beings, and that is why I have come to inform you." Hearing this voice, the saintess recognized that her filial piety had moved the Tathagata of Supreme Wisdom to manifest himself. He guided her, relieved her anxieties, and her emotions overwhelmed her. She threw herself onto the ground in reverence, thanking the Tathagata of Supreme Wisdom for his manifestation, to the extent that she injured her limbs. The saintess' family members rushed to her side, offering support and comforting her. After some time, she regained her composure, her face still wet with tears. She tearfully spoke to the heavens, saying, "May the Tathagata of supreme wisdom have compassion for me and pity me. Please, quickly tell me where my mother has been reborn. Due to the prolonged sorrow and longing for my mother, I am at the point of physical and mental exhaustion, nearly on the brink of death." In response, the Tathagata of supreme wisdom spoke to the saintess again, saying, "Once the offering ceremony is complete, return home promptly. Sit in a composed manner, free your mind from all distractions, and concentrate on reciting my name. At a designated time, arising from this meditative practice, you will come to know the whereabouts of your mother." The saintess, following the worship, promptly returned to her home. She assumed a proper sitting posture, focusing on the affectionate feelings she had towards her mother, and with great respect and single-mindedness, she recited the Tathagata of supreme wisdom's name. Due to the saintess's pure and devoted filial piety, her heartfelt longing for her mother, and her accumulated merits, virtues, and the strength of her concentration and wisdom from her past cultivation, she was able to transcend the realm of life and death, journeying into hell to rescue her deceased mother. After a day and a night of reciting the Buddha's name, the saintess had a vision. She felt as if she was standing by the side of a vast, boiling sea. The water in this sea was like freshly boiled water, bubbling and rolling with fierce waves, and it was inhabited by various terrifying and ferocious monsters. These creatures were all made of iron, flying in the sky above the sea, swooping and soaring, constantly moving about. In this sea, there were thousands upon thousands of beings, floating up and down, being seized and devoured by these ferocious monsters. The saintess also saw various kinds of yakshas, creatures with multiple eyes, heads, or limbs, all equipped with large, razor-sharp teeth, which extended outside their mouths, resembling swords. These yakshas used their sharp teeth to drive and chase the sinners, making them approach the ferocious monsters to be devoured. Moreover, these yakshas directly bit and clawed at the sinners. Their appearances were incredibly diverse, too numerous to count, and the terrifying sight of them devouring people was beyond description. Despite this horrifying scene, the saintess remained fearless due to her continuous recitation the Tathagata of supreme wisdom. At that moment, a ghost king named the Venomless respectfully approached her and inquired, "Great Bodhisattva, how did you come here?" The saintess asked, "Where is this place?" The Venomless ghost king replied, "This is the first sea to the west of the great iron encircling mountain." The saintess asked, "I've heard that hell is located inside the great iron encircling mountain, is that correct?" The Venomless replied, "Indeed, hell is situated within the great iron encircling mountain." The saintess then inquired, "So how did I end up in hell?" The Venomless ghost king explained, "Unless one relies on the supernatural power of a Buddha or Bodhisattva, coming here is either due to the karmic consequences of one's own actions or through one's own efforts. Apart from these two conditions, no one can enter this place." The saintess asked again, "Why is the water in this sea rolling up and down like water in a boiling pot? And why are there so many sinners and all sorts of fierce monsters in the sea?" The Venomless ghost king replied, "All these beings are evil sentient beings from the Soha world. Shortly after their deaths, and after undergoing 49 days in the afterlife, they still suffer in hell because they lack the merits of relatives, children, and friends to help deliver them from their torments. Moreover, they had not properly cultivated virtue during their lifetime, nor did they receive the blessings of the triple gem, so their past misdeeds led them to this hellish realm. Before coming to hell, they must first cross this sea, known as the Sea of Bodhikarma, which stretches about 2,500,000 kilometers to the east." The Venomless ghost king continued, "Beyond this sea, there is the Sea of Speech Karma, where suffering is much greater than in the Sea of Bodhikarma. And beyond the Sea of Speech Karma, there is the Sea of Mind Karma, where the suffering is even more intense. These three seas, created by the karmic consequences of body, speech, and mind, lead to the suffering in this place. What we usually refer to as the Karma Sea is this place. The saintess then inquired further, so where is hell located? The venomless ghost king replied, inside these 3 seas, you will find the great hell, numbering in the thousands, with various sizes. The largest among them consists of 18 major hells, followed by 500 smaller ones, each with its unique forms of suffering. And beyond these, there are 800, 1,000 smaller hells, each with innumerable sufferings of its own. Finally, the saintess asked, my mother passed away only a few days ago. Can you tell me where her spirit is now? The ghost king asked, Bodhisattva, when your mother was alive, did she perform any virtuous or unwholesome deeds? The saintess replied, my mother held wrong views and frequently ridiculed, mocked, and slandered the triple gem. Although she occasionally believed for a short time due to my persuasion, she soon returned to disbelief and disrespect for the triple gem. My mother only passed away a few days ago, and I don't know where she might be now. The venomless inquired further, what was your mother's name and surname? The saintess answered, both my father and mother belonged to the Brahmin caste. My father's name was Shaluoshanshan, and my mother's name was Udili. Venomless, upon hearing this, knew that because of the saintess's recitation of the Tathagata of Supreme Wisdom's name, the saintess's mother had already been liberated from the torments of hell and reborn in a better realm. Venomless respectfully put his hands together and said to the saintess, Saintess, you can now return home with a peaceful heart. There's no need to worry, grieve, or miss your mother any longer. It's because of a filial child like you, who made offerings to the Tathagata of Supreme Wisdom and sincerely recited the Tathagata of Supreme Wisdom's name for your mother. From the time of your mother's passing until now, only 3 days have passed. As a result, not only did your mother escaped the calamities of hell at that time, but all the sinners suffering in this Avachi hell also found liberation from their suffering on this same day, ascending to the realms of bliss. After conveying these words, Venomless respectfully put his hands together and departed. At that moment, the Brahmin lady woke up from her dream, her awareness returning to the Tathagata of Supreme Wisdom's temple. After contemplating this event carefully, she came to realize the unfathomable connections between life, death, karmic causality, and the blessings of the Buddhas. She once again approached the Tathagata of Supreme Wisdom's image and made a solemn vow, from this day forward and into the distant future, I vow to employ various methods and wisdom to bring about the complete liberation of all sentient beings who suffered due to their own karmic actions. The Buddha then informed Bodhisattva Manjushri, the ghost king Venomless in the preceding story is the present-day Bodhisattva of wealth. The saintess is Kṣitigarbha Bodhisattva.